Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video I'm going to talk about something that's I think is very important and might be quite controversial. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to be just packing the twins bag. So it's basically just moving things from one bag and putting it into the other bag, just because I don't like the bag that I'm using currently, and I'm making sure that I have everything. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to talk about first of all, I'm gonna need you guys to comment on this video, and if you guys do not have any knowledge about this topic, I'm gonna need you to send this to people who might maybe have some experience about the situation, or maybe have some opinions themselves. So I'm gonna need you to send this to anyone who can basically think and speak. Like, even if you can speak to your dog. Like, I know there's certain people that, like, can speak to animals and whatever. I know it sounds crazy, but anyway, I'm gonna need you guys to even ask their opinions on this thing, okay? Okay, anyway, even if you can speak to spirit, if you speak to spirit or anything, I'm gonna need you guys to go and ask them their opinions, okay? Okay, anyway. So today's topic is going to be on whether or not I should get my boys circumcised. I know. It's a very touchy topic. People have very different opinions on it. I know. But I actually am not, I'm not afraid of people's different perspectives and views on things. I actually really want you guys to tell me your your thought process or your experience, or why you decided to get circumcised, or maybe you decide not to get circumcised. So first of all, this is like my my thought process, like my understanding on the situation, okay? My reasoning, yes, that's the word I was looking for. My reasoning is that, like, God made everyone perfect, or anything for that matter, everything in this universe. I feel like God made perfect. It doesn't matter, like, your religion, Allah, or whatever it is, Buddha, the universe, whatever you believe in, okay, source. I feel like there's one source, God, the creator, most intelligent, most highest frequency, you know what I mean, like that consciousness, that, you know what I mean, what I'm trying to say. Everything is just made the way it's supposed to be, and everything has, like, a purpose. Like, the reason this specific thing was created was for a reason. It has a purpose. Okay. Now, I take also, and I feel like everything is connected. Everything, even though it might look separate from you, or the illusion of, like, we are separate. You are one race, I'm one race, you live in one country, whatever it is, it, like, goes so much deeper than this. But I truly believe that everything is connected, and it has a purpose, and God's knowledge on things are way more, okay, let me put it another way. Like, we are way more limited than God is. So our understanding on why he created something, we might not fully understand why certain things are the way it is. Do you understand what I mean? So, like, the human body, I feel like my opinion is it shouldn't be touched, or, like, unless, don't get me wrong, unless there is, like, a medical reason for it, then it just shouldn't be, like touched or like interfered with, because we don't have that like understanding that God is and why he created something the way he did. Okay, so that is my reasoning. Also, so number one, God makes no mistakes. The body is the way it should be. We have limited knowledge on the body's autonomy. And another thing is, kids, okay, let me see, like babies, like I know in some countries circumcision is like done like when the baby's like just born, like a newborn, like maybe like a few days out of the womb or whatever. Like that is traumatizing, and not having anesthetic and things like that is very, very traumatizing on a child. I feel like even though they say like it heals better and whatever, but still the fact remains that it is traumatizing. And like the pain that they go through, like it's just like I cannot imagine putting a child through that. Like I don't know. Okay, I'm still like telling you guys my points on my decision on why I feel like I don't want to get them circumcised. And I feel like it's their body, their choice, and they will come to an age where they can understand more, and I will explain everything to them, and it will be fully their choice whether they want to be circumcised or not circumcised. And then another thing is I feel like it's like protection. Like that skin there is there for a reason, and it's protection. And it's so funny, I watched a TikTok the other day because I had this conversation with my sister where she brought up it's funny even how this even came about this last week, because I didn't even think about it, and I was totally for like being circumcised. That's like how I grew up. I'm South African, so there's a lot of Muslim people around us, and there was even a point in time where I like practiced like Muslim religion, whatever, and it was just a thing. Like even my brother, he was circumcised. I just thought like that is the normal thing to do, but I never like asked questions about it. I never asked why we do it. Like it was just, oh, this is how we do it. It was never like a question or whatever. So before I had kids, I was like, oh, definitely. Even after I gave birth, like in my mind, I'm like, okay, when they're older, they're getting circumcised. And I don't know, for some reason that shifted. I don't even know how it shifted. But anyway, I think it was about a week ago. I wanted to make this video a very long time, but I didn't have the time. But anyway, a week ago, my sister asked me, am I gonna get the twins' ears pierced? And I said, no, I'm gonna let them choose. I'm gonna let them choose whether they want to get the ears pierced or not. And then she went on to ask me, okay, then are you gonna like get them circumcised? And then I thought, and I said, no, I'm not gonna get them circumcised. I'm gonna let them make the choice. And she was like, she can't understand why I would make that choice, because like they need to be circumcised, because like her argument is like hygiene. She's like all for hygiene. Okay, and she knows it's like, while we're talking, going back and forth, and she's like, you must get them circumcised. In China, people like, they live in China, and once they go to like primary school, there's like a period where it's almost like I think it's the summer break, where all the mothers come together and they all like go and get their boys circumcised, like all together on the summer break. That's how they do it in China. They don't do it like when you're just like newborn. So then she was explaining to me that everyone does it in China. People are gonna like look at them and be like, why is so different? And her other argument is that they are definitely gonna like hate me for it, or because when doing it when they're younger, it's like less pain and it heals faster and whatever. Like, I totally stand with her, and I agree. But my thing is like, where did this even start? Now I know some people choose, it's like a must, you have to get circumcised. I get that, but I'm not Muslim and I'm not Jewish. And then after this conversation I had with my sister, like we're going back and forth and like got kind of heated. But the thing with me and my sister is like, it doesn't matter what argument we have like the intention that even after this argument we are going to be, we are still going to be fine, because our goal is not to be against each other or you're right, you're wrong. We like to share our different opinions on things. And so we're going back and forth with it, and she was like, okay, now I don't want to talk about this. I really don't understand how you don't want to get them circumcised. Like, also another thing she said is, if you don't get them circumcised, they are like at risk for infections, like HIV and stuff like that. And then, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my research that night. So the same night that we had that little argument, whatever, I went to do my research, and then the research came out and said it's totally up to the parents whether they should get circumcised or not. And if you don't get circumcised, you just teach them proper hygiene. So I'm like, fine, I can do that. I will most definitely teach them proper hygiene and how to, so I did some research about that at like 3 years old, or whatever age you start teaching them how to take care of themselves. I'm like, okay, perfectly fine. I don't see the need to why you need to get circumcised. You know what I mean? And so we had our little argument, and even though I told her, I'm like, I'm all for your body, your choice. Like, now the thing is, I had this thing where she told me like, you are like gonna regret it or something. And also my family stands on with my sister's point. So basically my whole family is like on get them circumcised. And then I'm the only one that is like, no, I'm not gonna get them circumcised. And now the thing is, my fear is, will I regret not getting them circumcised? I don't know. I feel like it's better that they have the choice. It's like their body. Like, I don't know. Am I missing something? And I'm like, totally. If it's medical reasons, say maybe like there's something that's medical and needs to be circumcised, fine. But if they're perfectly healthy boys, like, I don't see the need for them to get circumcised. And also, I don't see what's the problem in giving them a choice. Also, I wanted my sister to actually be on this video, but she doesn't want to be on the video. Because we were like going back and forth, and like she's telling me like her reasons and stuff like that. But she doesn't want to be on the video, so I respect the boundaries. So what I need from you guys is, if you actually, I think the best person for this to ask this question about is someone that is not circumcised, and then someone who got circumcised like later on in life. So basically, like, they had the experience of being not circumcised, and then they get circumcised, and now they know the experience of being circumcised. Do you understand what I mean? So they can, like, they're right in the middle. They know how it feels. You know what I mean? Like, they had the experience, so they can like see, okay, was getting circumcised a good decision? So if you guys know anyone who has had that experience, or if you're a mother who I don't know, who thinks like me and stands on my point, make sure you comment down below, because this like thing has been stressing me out, and I never thought having boys would like it would come to this. But anyway, like, I never I never thought it was even like I just thought like boys are like so much easier than girls. I don't know, I don't even know why I had that belief. But yeah, so So this has been like on my mind these few days. And I like that I'm choosing not to get them circumcised. I'm giving them the choice, their body, their choice. That is like what I stand for. And like God, like I even told my sister this. I was like, so you're telling me that God everywhere else made everything perfect, but this one place he made a mistake. Like that was my argument, and I'm not sure if it's accurate enough to like use it in this like situation, but that is just like my thought process. So, and I have a friend actually. I have a friend that is open about these things, and I asked him what's his opinions and whatever, and he was definitely like he agrees with me. So I'm just looking for that one, I don't know, for that one reason, a very good reason that would make me be like, okay, I think I might get them circumcised. And like I said, if it's medical, of course, I'm getting them circumcised. But if it's not, like, please give me a very, 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 very good reason on why I should get them circumcised. I don't know. I actually think it's a very, very big deal on getting, like, making changes to your body. And I also I did some research, and it's actually considered a cosmetic surgery. So it's not a must. It's totally up to the parents' fault. I mean, it's totally up to the parents. And I just feel like it's best if I give them the choice. Like, I don't think at all it is right to, like, for girls. I know in some African cultures, they like do female mutilation and stuff like that. Like that, I don't stand on any. Like, I just disagree with it. And then to do it on boys, like, why is it okay to do it on boys? Also, another thing is, so I don't know, when was it? I watched an interview, Ellen DeGeneres interview with Sandra Bullock, it was. And basically how she's talking, how she like keeps herself young and stuff like that. And she brought up how she does this facial where they use basically the foreskin of young boys to stay young.
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean baby. That's what it is. Who comes up with this?
And then it got me thinking, like, did someone come up with this idea of circumcision because, I don't know how to put it in words, but I know you guys understand me, like, so that it can be like a business, but instead of telling people the actual truth on why they're doing it, they put it as like, it's good for you, it's like, it's better hygiene, it has benefits of future risk of like infections and stuff like that. So everyone got on this like agreed on this idea of circumcision. You understand what I mean? Like, I don't know, it's like all these things, like in today's, I don't know, I just feel like we have to like question everything. We cannot be so gullible and just like, oh, just do it because we've been doing it for so many years. Like, why? And I need like a very good reason on why. And honestly, I can't see my boys go through the pain. I can't, and it's two of them. And even like the healing process, I heard like so many people talk about their experience on how they heard the baby cry, and they, it's just, I cannot put them through that. For what? Just because it looks good? Or just because society like made it normal? Like, no, like, I promise you, I'm the type of person that even like the whole world is like I'm just gonna use it as an example, okay? The whole world is like circumcised, and then I have this argument, oh no, like I just feel like this is wrong. It doesn't feel right in my spirit, and I'm the only one that thinks that way. I will just still stand on my point. I will not, because everyone around me is doing it, I will do it. That's what I mean. Like, even if I'm alone. And then also another thing is, I'm like thinking, like, when they're older and they see people around them, like, they look different from them, are they gonna feel like left out? Are they gonna, like, but then I see that as a good thing, because then I can teach them how to, like, not just go with the trend, go with whatever. I don't know how to put it in words, but I know you guys understand me, I know. So I'm asking you guys, please, like, it will be very, very helpful for me on making my decision. At this very moment, I'm on not being, like, I'm not gonna circumcise them. But if someone comes out with, like, a very good reason, because I'm scared that, am I missing something? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm very open-minded, and then I have this fear of, like, am I not being open enough, or am I not seeing what other people are seeing? Like, even my sister, she was like telling me, like, I was telling her, I'm definitely going to teach him how to stay clean, whatever, and she was like, can you guarantee that they are going to listen to you, and that they're actually going to, be clean now? And it's not only about them, it's about, like, their future, like, their wives. Like, if they don't keep clean, it will affect their wives, and I totally understand. There are men that do not, like, she even gave me an example the other day. She was walking, I think they were walking to a shop, and then she just saw this man, like, peeing outside, and then just after he was done, he just put it back in, and she feels like that is, like, very unhygienic. So yeah. And my family also, my older sister was telling me, like, trust me, if you love your boys, you will get them circumcised. And I'm like, I just need a better reason on why I should get them circumcised. So please, guys, make sure you comment down below your thoughts. And I do not mind if you'll have, like, a different opinion. I respect your opinions, and I respect your decisions on why you guys do things. I just want to get more knowledge and information on the subject, because I don't want to feel like, like, basically, I don't want to regret that. I don't want to, like, when they're older, regret that I didn't get them circumcised or something, you know what I mean? But then I still strongly feel like keeping them on, like, not getting them circumcised is, like, the right decision. And I don't know how, like, that changed, because I wasn't like that. I was definitely like, they're getting circumcised, end of story. I remember there was a time I was even arguing with the grandmother. It wasn't an argument, but it was a discussion. And then she was like, so the grandmother on the father's side, she was like, no, I didn't get my son circumcised. And then I was like, but he is. I think when he got older, he made the decision to get circumcised. And also that he's not here now, and I have to speak to the father about it. Oh my goodness, I just hope that he's on the same page with me. And I know some people are like, their children, they cannot make it their own choices. I understand that. When they're older, when they understand, I will lay everything out and let them choose. Because at the end of the day, it's their body. This is today's topic. I know it's controversial. Like, all the boy moms out there, like, what was your experience? Do you regret getting them circumcised? Do you regret not getting them circumcised? Like, I have all these questions. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it at this very moment. It might change, it might not change. The boys just woke up. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Say hi. They just woke up from the nap. Say hello. I'm playing with the cars. Also, I watched this video, I think it was a TikTok of this woman explaining like how when she was in America, I'll definitely like put the link down below if you guys want to watch it. Because it really like gave me some information that helped me like basically like help me make my decision basically. So she was basically talking about how in America it was just like normalized, so she never like questioned it or anything. And then she moved to France, I think about 7 years, and then she quickly realized that through dating that most of the men there are not circumcised.
There's a lot of things I've changed my mind about since moving to France, but one of them is really controversial and I've been wanting to talk about it, so I'm going to share it with you right now. I have changed my mind about circumcision, as in the male parts, circumcision. When I lived in the US, I always thought if I ever have a son, if I have a baby boy, I will 100% obviously get him circumcised, because at the time I thought it's more hygienic and it's just what everyone has. Like, it's gross and weird to not have that. That's literally what I thought. And back in the US, when I was single, I've, been in relations with men. In my life, I had only ever seen one uncircumcised person in my whole life. And I remember it was like a discussion topic among the gals. Actually, among any of the girls in the US, I feel like it's always a discussion topic. If a man is not circumcised, we talk about it. We're like, oh my God, he's uncut. Like, what's it look like? Oh my God, it's like a little worm, gross, blah, blah. Like, we're chitter-chattering about it, right? Mind you, this is even with knowing that it's a form of genital mutilation. This is even knowing that there's no real medical reason to do it. It's mostly cosmetic, right? And I guess like religious in some way. Didn't matter. At the time, I was like, no, 100%. If I have a little boy, he's going to be circumcised. Duh. End of story, period, over. And then I moved to France. And wow, has my opinion completely changed on this topic. So I don't know how many of you guys know this, but most men in France are not circumcised. I think actually most men in Europe are not circumcised. Took me a little bit of time of dating people to realize that, to come to that conclusion here. And then I was like, oh, wow, that's all we got over here. Actually, I haven't seen a circumcised one since I've been here. But that's not why I changed my mind. It's not because I was like, well, that's what I'm surrounded by now, so I guess that's what we'll do. No. What really changed my mind is my ex-boyfriend that I dated years ago, right? He was uncircumcised and we were talking about it. As you do with your boyfriend, you talk about your stuff, okay? And he explained a couple things to me that I had no idea. First of all, put it this way. You know how girls, we have the clit and then we have the hood? Well, the little skin that goes over it that like protects it, right? Can you imagine if your hood was completely removed and the actual sensitive part was constantly rubbing against your jeans or whatever? First of all, that's a lot of sensitivity. But second of all, it kind of hurts after a while. Do you not agree? It kind of does. Like, when you get too sensitive, someone who is circumcised is going to be constantly exposed the same way that I described. So first of all, that's uncomfortable. But then over time, it loses sensitivity. I mean, I don't have one myself, but this is what I've been told, okay, since chatting with the men. Now, second, and this really blew my mind, my ex-boyfriend explained to me that when you are uncircumcised, you don't need a lubricant to take care of yourself. Do you get what I'm saying? And I was like, what the hell do you mean? Like, I thought all boys needed to, like, in the movies, they always show, like, getting the lotion out and the tissues. Basically, what he explained to me, and I've seen this with my own eyes, it's like self-lubricating because the extra skin moves with it. Do you get what I mean? So you don't really need a lotion because it's moving with you. Versus one that is circumcised, the hand just moves, but the thing doesn't move. I'm sorry, I know this is kind of vulgar, but I really want to talk about this. Lastly, it's only unhygienic if you don't know how to clean yourself, right? So I think anyone who showers and just takes care of themselves, it's not less or unhygienic. I guess there's more room for bacteria to grow if you're not taking care of yourself. But if you're not taking care of yourself, you're probably not going to be very delicious down there anyway, right? And the more and more I started thinking about this, I was like, wait, it literally is the male version of female genital mutilation. It is genital mutilation. And also the fact that they do this to newborns without anesthetic, when they're just fresh out of the womb, which is already the most traumatizing experience a fucking child could ever have. And then they snip it off for what? For what? To look pretty? Because it's been like 7 years since I've seen one that isn't uncircumcised and they look nice. They look great, to be honest. I'll tell you right now. When they're fully at mass, they look the fucking same, actually. But I wanted to share this with you because this is a really great example of something that I really thought that I had an opinion on when I lived in the US, because I was in the US surrounded by other Americans living in my vacuum. And it doesn't seem like a big deal. I'm not even a dude, but I always thought if I have a child, if I have a boy, he will be circumcised, to the point where I was like, if my husband disagrees, we'll fight about it. Like, we will fight about it. And what I'm saying to you is when I moved to France in a different culture with different people, and I learned and I opened up my perspective and I took in new information, I realized I was actually wrong. Now, I'm not saying whatever you decide to do with your kid, that's you, right? But my point is, that said to me, Amanda, you can change your opinion on things. Something that at the time, I was so black and white on it. And now I've completely changed my mind. And what this says to me is, when you leave your country and you get out of your vacuum, get out of your bubble, you go around different people, something that you thought you knew so much about, you might realize you know nothing about, and opinions that you felt so strongly about, you might change your mind. And to me, that is fantastic. And ladies, I know most of you are American who follow me. If you ever come across one that isn't circumcised, do not run away. They're great. They're nice. I've seen them. They're A+, 10 out of 10. Okay, that's all.